Hey, Mr. Bill O'Reilly is with us today to give us a look at what's been happening this week. Minneapolis City Council has advanced the plan to replace the police, Bill. Meanwhile, the president and his administration are saying that the ones who want to defund the police are the Republicans.
Yeah, it's just propaganda, so I don't even bother with that. But this is not a hard issue. So when I was a local news reporter in New York City at Channel 2 WCBS in the 1980s, New York City was a horrific place to be. It was the crack thing coming in, heroin all over the place, drug addicts running wild, assaults. You couldn't walk in Central Park after dusk. It was horrible. And a lot of my reporting was centered on that, so I know what I'm talking about. And then in the 1990s, it got so bad, they elected Rudy Giuliani as mayor. And Giuliani came in with U.S. attorney credentials and basically reorganized the police force to be a very, very aggressive, punitive force in the sense that it would arrest you. You jumped over a turnstile in a subway. If you did graffiti, you would be taken in. You would be prosecuted. Well, the violent crime in New York was cut in half, sometimes even more than that. Murders went from a high of about 3,500 a year to 350. So you can see. Then Bloomberg came in and he kept all of the Giuliani policies, the stop and frisk, the aggressive gun seizures on the street, and crime stayed very low. So that's a fact. There's no theory about it. There's no doubt about it. That happened over a almost 20-year period in New York City. So then when de Blasio took over, the communists, he just blasted all of that out and said to the criminals, hey, you can do what you want because it's society's fault, not your fault. You're beating up the old grandmother and firing a weapon that might hit children. It's not your fault. It's because you were deprived growing up. That's de Blasio. And then the whole system, Cuomo, the governor, the DAs, all cooperated, and now we have a horror in New York City. So I'm telling you about New York and not Minneapolis because I'm an eyewitness to this.
No, I know, and it's the same. It's the same everywhere. I mean, Bill, any place that has defunded the police or really vilified the police. Some cities, Los Angeles is in total chaos. People are going into places like Target. I just read a story. I can't remember where it was, but a group of people walked into a Target. They just grabbed things off of the rack and they walked out. The store owner said they didn't even run. They're not afraid at all. They just walked out.
Because they won't be prosecuted or arrested.
Yep.
So this is a fact. That's the baseline for every American who cares about his or her country or the crime issue. And then you have the President of the United States getting up there and saying, no. The way to solve violent crime is to put a social worker in the backseat of the police car when the call comes in. There's a guy with a gun pointed at the head of his girlfriend or whatever. That's the way to do it. No. And so to me, that's insulting. Number one, I'm insulted by the President of the United States being so dumb. Right? It's subversive. It's what the President of the United States is doing. And remember, this stuff goes all over the world. He's basically saying, look, I'm not going to solve the violent crime problem because closing down a bad gun store is not going to do it. Here's a bulletin. The violent drug gang criminals already have guns, Joe. And they didn't get them from the gun store. All right. They didn't buy retail. Okay. They didn't do that. All right. So there he is, totally befuddled about everything. No joke. I'm not being facetious. Totally befuddled. All right. Meanwhile, thousands of people, mostly minorities, are dying in the streets. While he's up there telling Don Lemon, hey, no, we need to get community policing and put up a few volleyball nets, and all these drug guys are going to stop. I mean, really, just break it down to what it is. And it's frightening.
Well, here's
subversive.
Yeah, subversive is a better word. I because the strike force that he's put together for these, the gun trafficking in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. They're launching the Justice Department, launching a strike force in those cities.
Yeah.
So this is to stop the gun violence. No, it's not. This is to stop guns. This is you watch. This is the Bloomberg dream of getting people in, the federal government getting in to stop guns. I don't think that they're going to be looking for gun trafficking. They're going to be going after guns. They're making a case, and they will say the problem in Chicago is that they have access to guns, and we've got to stop the access to guns.
But don't bother the criminals. Don't
Correct.
even arrest them.
Correct.
Because they're victims of a bad, horrible America.
I don't know if you've seen what happened in, where was it? St. Louis. The St. Louis Circuit Attorney they now say has essentially abandoned its duty. Her office. She is a huge beneficiary of money from George Soros. Yep. And they didn't even show up for a group of court cases, which led to the release of a murder suspect. Look, nobody cares.
The subversive. No, I think the American people care. But I think that in the election next year, 2022, that is one of the most important elections in American history. So if Americans don't come out and say, look, we may not like Republicans or conservatives, but we cannot watch our country be destroyed by the progressive left. We cannot. It's got to be not a squeaker. It's got to be that overwhelmingly the progressive left Democratic Party is rejected in 2022. If that does not happen,
we're in
with
trouble.
all of the corporate media, and I mean all of it now, on the side of the progressives, promoting propaganda from the left, if the American people are not smart enough to do that or motivated enough to do it, to go out, all right, then this country is then going to descend into tribes. So it'll be each tribe hires its own personal security, does what it wants to do, but there's not going to be any cooperation among we the people. We'll break down, just like they did in medieval times. And I don't think people understand how important 2022 is. It is vital for this country to stop the madness. Literally stop the madness, because that's what we're experiencing now. And Joe Biden is going to go down, I said this very early on, as might be the worst president of the United States. It's going to be close between him and James Buchanan.
I will tell you, if it doesn't go down, if things don't change in 2022, he may go down as the last president of the United States.
I don't see that.
Wait. Let me say it this way. Not in name, but in who we actually have always been.
Well, the country will definitely veer out. You mentioned
we're not abiding by constitutional norms now. We're not abiding by the Bill of Rights right now. Everything that they're doing is much of it is anti-constitution and anti-Bill of Rights.
They don't want the Constitution. But even more importantly and more serious is that Americans have no protection anymore.
None.
The justice system is breaking down, particularly if you live in urban areas. And this should infuriate African Americans and poor of all colors, because you don't have any protection. There's nobody protecting you. If somebody hurts you, no matter if it's beats you up or shoots you or stabs you or breaks into your house or your car, the odds are those people are not going to pay a price for doing that. I mean, every American's got to get out of their fog and understand exactly how dangerous Joe Biden is. He looks like he's here. Oh yeah, I'm a nice guy. Oh yeah, all that. The man is dangerous because he doesn't know or seemingly care what is actually happening inside the country.